You've heard it said, health is wealth, so enrich your life with the Healthy Home Hour, brought to you by the Healthy Home Market every Sunday, 9 to 10 a.m. Know what's new and classic for health and wellness. Meet the local and national experts. Live God's plan to thrive, not just survive. I'm your host, Holly Adams, and welcome to the Healthy Home Hour. Morning all, it's another blessed day in the Queen City, and this Healthy Home Hour, we're honored to have a legend from Togo, West Africa, to talk about health, beauty, and peace, and fair trade. Olowo Tchala is back and shares good news about Alaffia, skin and hair care. We're talking about shea butter of the finest grade with only 3 steps from shea nut to the bottle and our shelves at the Healthy Home Market. And as you know, shea butter has healing properties that we'll talk about, and it's also a great protectant for your skin, protecting you from the harsher climate conditions that, frankly, we're all faced with now. But even way back, shea butter was prized by kings and queens and the people. And in fact, it's mentioned in every historic African document since before Cleopatra. So stay with us. Keep it locked on Streets 1033, this Healthy Home Hour, and know what shea butter is really all about and how Alaffia has transformed not only the quality of the shea available, but the quality of life of those that harvest and produce it with high standards of fair trade. It's Olowo here today with Alaffia. But first, a quick look at what's up at the Healthy Home Market and the Community Wellness Center. Lots of classes this week. Healing classes, free classes at the Community Wellness Center at 1318A0. That's behind the store, which is at 1330 Central Avenue, both off Central Avenue. And the classes start at about 6:30, and you can go online and check them all out at healthyhomemkt.com. And come on out and come a little bit early and get to the new patio at the Healthy Home Market. The tables, chairs, umbrellas are in and up, and it's the happening place to eat well and eat cheap at 1330 Central Ave, right next to the Family Dollar and Bistro Le Bon. And you can order up your own fresh juice or custom smoothie and have a seat right there on the patio. So check it all out at healthyhomemkt.com. That's healthyhomemkt.com for more details and discounts. So joining us today, our special guest, Olowo Tchala of Alaffia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. The last time you were on the show, you had just arrived by biodiesel van, traveling 9,000 miles to celebrate the 2013 Alaffia Empowerment Tour. So I wonder if you just indulge us a little and refresh our memories of what that celebration was all about and how did it go?
Well, it went very, very well. That was in 2013 was our 10th year since we started our organization, and we thought the best way to celebrate it would be to go around the U.S. to show our appreciation to the diverse people and mainly customers and people that use our product. Because of those individuals, we're able to carry on for 10 years and achieve the human empowerment that we're able to do in Togo. And that came from my own culture of Togo, that the way to show a true appreciation is to present yourself. And we could have done that over the phone, or we could have done it by sending card, by being in person to express those words meant a lot to us, and that's what we did. And it went very well. Then we're hoping to go another 10 years and go around again.
Yeah. Olowo, you really are a champion of health and wellness for not only those from your homeland of Togo, but also for your customers. I mean, Alaffia shea butter products are clean. They're minus the toxins of some other shea products. What is it? What does Alaffia leave out that could be harmful to a customer that you might find in other beauty care products?
There are many, and I look at true beauty in 2 different ways. One is to ensure that the people involved in the process, first of all, they're not harmed. People involved in making the product and people involved in gathering the raw ingredients. And there's a need to also ensure that those people have livelihood in the process. That's one segment of the beauty. The other part are very straightforward. They're essentially things that we often say that if you can't eat or you don't want to put in your own skin, you shouldn't be selling it to people, because I see that as a criminal activity. And that certainly can go from parabens, it can go from any mineral oils or anything that's derived from petroleum.
That's interesting, because we hear a lot about, you know, phthalates and propylene glycol, which is a carcinogen, and paraben. So none of that is in there, which makes it, you're right, it's like doubly beautiful. Basis of Alaffia black soap and everyday shea and your very popular beautiful curls. Let's talk about the health benefits of shea. Tell us about it.
The benefit of the shea butter begins with how the shea butter itself is made. And specifically is ensure that it is handcrafted and what we call unrefined. The majority of shea butters in the marketplace are, while they may be wild gathered, they end up being refined. Let's suppose you have a whole wheat and white flour. One has fiber and one doesn't. So the same goes with the shea butter, to ensure that it's processed in a way that the butter itself will be unrefined, meaning that you don't destroy the natural occurring properties or healing properties, is the beginning of it. So once you have the unrefined, then the benefits are very straightforward, mainly the vitamin E, and we know vitamin E is a very strong source of antioxidant, which is necessary to keep our skin healthy and keep making new skin. But at the same time, shea butter is as you mentioned earlier, you have to think of the environment where it's used heavily. These in the savannas of West Africa, where the sun is very straight on you, and to have a protective layer is very critical, because many of us get sun damage, and shea butter does provide that.
So you're talking about it's protecting the skin, and I know that there's a lot of conversation about, you know, the cells of the skin actually being regenerated, that it has it helps sprains and arthritis. And, you know, in this country, inflammation is such a huge issue. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, and again, the way we see shea butter, something that's used for thousands of years, we feel that it makes the basis of the argument much stronger than something that we said we just determined in a laboratory. And over time, over those hundreds of years throughout West Africa, it's very clear what these is used for. And as you mentioned, for inflammation, it becomes the right thing to use. And in fact, in Togo, that's one of the main things that we use it for, from umbilical cords, which once you cut the umbilical cord, you need to keep inflammation down. But at the same time, if you look under the eyes and various exposures that we are to the environment, to have something that you can apply that at the same time will not be clogging your pores or will not be adding other harmful chemicals back into your body. Because shea butter has a very small molecular properties, are even smaller than our own pores. And that's another reason why it's very important that it's very clean when we put it into our skin, because it will drive whatever it is to penetrate in the deep muscle layers.
That's so fascinating. So it actually, it has shea butter goes down into the skin, even past the skin, into the muscle?
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why it's used in sport medicine to help muscles.
That's incredible. And so it would be effective for joint issues and have you heard of anybody talking about it in terms of arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis as being helpful?
Certainly, and of course those are not validated by FDA, but those are based on the traditional uses. That is very clear how these help. I use it, and any grandmothers in Togo, you can be sure that that's what they use to ease the pain on their knees or on their joints in general.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, you know, there seems to be such a discrepancy with shea butter. There's a deeper color, some's more yellow, some's even brown. Does that really matter? Is that important?
It is important. What is important is to let you believe that something is shea butter when in fact is not. and it's true that there's various color variation, but those variation within the true unrefined shea butter should not be too many. It should be lightest yellowish to beige color, and if it's refined, it will be pure white. But to have something bright yellow is not shea butter.
Oh, that's interesting. So the bright yellow isn't so good, and what about the brown?
The brown, again, it depends how brown it is. That could have a relation to how long it's been sitting around. It could also mean that there's a loss the non-butter particle that's still part of the butter that you're seeing. Because when you make the shea butter, when you separate out the traditional process, there's a loss of brown. The nuts that are kind of brown color. And if they're not separate properly, you still have the brownish part of it. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but the more you can get the pure form of the unrefined, the better.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So there would be the brown might be from shells and little pulverized bits of stuff that isn't actually the butter, the oil.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting. There's lots to learn here. I'm so glad you're here, Olowo. It's a pleasure to have you. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back, folks, on the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by the Healthy Home Market and Streets 1033.
Did you know that your liver performs close to 500 vital functions, including filtering out all of the environmental toxins you're exposed to every day? For the health of your liver, Himalaya Herbal Healthcare offers Liver Care, a clinically proven combination of nourishing herbs that helps cleanse as well as normal cell regeneration and enzyme levels. And when compared to seasonal cleanse kits, Liver Care offers daily support. You'll find Liver Care at fine health food stores everywhere and online at HimalayaUSA.com.
You want more protein for your workout, for you, for your family, so you eat a protein bar. You mix up a protein shake. But did you know your liver plays an essential role in creating new protein in your body? And Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare has been clinically studied to decrease nitrogen loss. And nitrogen is the glue your body uses to make new protein. Liver Care keeps you and your body in a protein-creative state, so you get the full benefit of those bars and shakes. Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare.
We face many of the same challenging situations every day, and Stress Care is your way to move through the day without the occasional stress, fatigue, and frustration that can happen when there is just too much going on. Stress Care contains the world's most prized adaptogens, ashwagandha, holy basil, and turmeric, and is clinically proven to effectively promote both peace of mind and vitality. We like to describe Stress Care by saying, same situation, different you. Stress Care can be found at fine health food stores everywhere or online at HimalayaUSA.com.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
Hey, glad you're here today. I'm Holly Adams. We're here with Olowo Tchala of Alaffia from Togo, West Africa. He's calling in today from Washington State. We're going to talk all about that, how we got from Togo to Washington State. And before the break, we were talking about the value of shea butter and how important it is to have shea butter that is done properly, refined properly. And there's really an art to it, Olowo. Tell us a little bit more about the actual process.
There's two main ways of extracting the oil, or in this case the butter, out of the shea nuts. One is what we call the chemical process, and that's involve using hexane, and hexane, as we know, is a petroleum derivative. And if you use hexane, the yield is much higher. And the other way is to use the traditional method, and clearly that's what we do, is use the traditional method, and that does not involve any input of chemicals whatsoever. These begin by collecting the shea nuts first, and you shell them because they're covered with a shell. You wash the nuts, and then you pound them. And what you try to do is to make like a peanut butter, and once you have that paste, you whip it. Let's suppose you have 10 pounds of the shea nut paste. You need 10 pounds of cold water. After 1 to 2 hours of whipping by hand, the butter will start to separate, and that's where you put warm water. And warm water helps to for all the oils to rise to the surface. Then you skim that and put it in low heat, and that will make sure that all the moistures evaporate. And from there, by this time, we'll talk about the third day, then you gently stir the oil, which turns to the butter.
Oh, that's so fascinating. That sounds really handcrafted, like artisan type shea butter. It's very different.
Yes.
Yeah. So, this, it sounds like it's kind of, well, you have an expression on your website that I love, and it sounds just like what it describes. What you're talking about is indigenous beauty knowledge. Is this something that has been around for many years, this actual process?
Certainly, and this is not only unique to Togo. It is something that you see across the entire savanna of West Africa, because the shea trees grow below the Saharan desert across 16 different countries, and through that there's thousands of different ethnic groups, and each ethnic group may do a little bit differently, but the end result end up being the same. It's based on those hundreds, if not thousands, of years of extracting these oil. Because the important part of the shea butter is not only because it's good to protect the harsh environment, but it's very good for food as well. You need it for food. So for a long time, different ethnic groups and families have relied on the shea butter as a source of security and not going to hunger.
So how would you use that? Would you cook with it? Would you fry things with it?
Yes, anything that you can use coconut oil for, you can use shea butter for. And the shea butter itself is monosaturated fat. Yes, it is saturated fat, but it is not the bad of the kind. So you can bake with it. You can in Togo we do a lot of bean cake frying. You fry bean cakes with it, and you put on right on top of the beans. As you know, in places like Togo and other parts of Africa, the consumption of vegetable oil is very necessary for healthy living. So we eat quite a bit of this in Togo.
So I also understand that you get this process going, but there's a step in between of some sort where you actually use the sun to help cure the shea before it gets to that whipping stage. How does the sun help the shea butter?
The sun helps in various ways. When we, as I mentioned, putting the oil in low heat, you don't want to overheating the oils, and the sun, we use the sun to help to bring the oils to the surface as well. The area where I described, you can add warm water to it. If you don't add warm water, you simply put it in the sun, and the sun will do the trick for you.
Interesting. So, on your labels on Alaffia black soap and Alaffia everyday shea and everyday coconut, there's some other ingredients in there. What are some of the other ingredients you're using that work synergistically and partner with the shea butter?
Wild shea butter is the main ingredient that we use. To truly be able to empower a community, we have to look for diverse things that the community has to offer. If you take our black soap, for instance, you will see that we'll combine it with palm kernel oil, and we also will use an extract for African mint, and that has antioxidant properties, helps the skin from different issues. And when you go on to a different Alaffia product, you see baobab, and those are also wild trees that grow through the savanna of West Africa. And you may see an extract that we say shea leaves. Those has antibacterial properties, or papaya leaf extract. It goes on and on. Essentially, anything that Togo could offer or Togo use traditionally for skin treatment, we try to do that within various formulas that we have.
Sorry, we got somebody trying to beep in here, but we can't. We got to keep going. You talk about the baobab. Is that the tree that has like, very interesting trunk and down to the ground? It looks like almost like layers or walls of the trunk.
Yes, the baobab trees are very ancient. They live for about 2,000 years. So they're very part of the community, and they can tell you a lot of history about the humans that live around them just simply by being around those trees. And the fact that they live for so long, it means that their barks are very thick, and we use those barks as an extract in our product as well. And I must say, the baobab trees themselves are, like you described them, they're very interesting trees. They can be up to 10 feet in diameter. They're very large trees that still exist within the savanna. And they are just like shea trees. What they give is so many. They within their bark. So in addition, you have those pulp that they make, and with the pulp, there's a powder inside the pulp. And that powder is very one of the highest concentrations of vitamin C. So we'll use that in our facial care. And within that book too, there's little seeds, and those are skin cell regenerations. It's known to help with that. So we'll use that as our serum as well. So we'll use many part of the tree.
So, and very interesting. There's so many trees there that are so nourishing. There's also the neem tree, the West African neem, and I know you've got that in shea also.
Yes, we use the neem. Of course, neem originally came from India, but you see them in Togo and elsewhere in West Africa where they grow wild. And the neem from the bark, similar to the baobab, is used in a similar manner. But many people know the benefit of the neems are they're very, very powerful. They're good. That's why we use them mostly in hair care and facial care because of their specific targets that they can help with.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me that you have, combined the shea butter from the shea nuts and then the baobab and the neem, and that there's vitamin C in baobab trees, and this is such an important ingredient, vitamin C, in skincare products.
Yes.
It's fascinating that, these things have been there for so long and have everything you need for good skincare. So we're going to take just another short break. Olowo, and folks, stay with us here at Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip-hop station.
Did you know that your liver performs close to 500 vital functions, including filtering out all of the environmental toxins you're exposed to every day? For the health of your liver, Himalaya Herbal Healthcare offers Liver Care, a clinically proven combination of nourishing herbs that helps cleanse as well as normal cell regeneration and enzyme levels. And when compared to seasonal cleanse kits, Liver Care offers daily support. You'll find Liver Care at fine health food stores everywhere and online at HimalayaUSA.com.
You want more protein for your workout, for you, for your family, so you eat a protein bar. You mix up a protein shake. But did you know your liver plays an essential role in creating new protein in your body? And Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare has been clinically studied to decrease nitrogen loss. And nitrogen is the glue your body uses to make new protein. Liver Care keeps you and your body in a protein-creative state, so you get the full benefit of those bars and shakes. Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare.
We face many of the same challenging situations every day, and Stress Care is your way to move through the day without the occasional stress, fatigue, and frustration that can happen when there is just too much going on. Stress Care contains the world's most prized adaptogens, ashwagandha, holy basil, and turmeric, and is clinically proven to effectively promote both peace of mind and vitality. We like to describe Stress Care by saying, same situation, different you. Stress Care can be found at fine health food stores everywhere or online at HimalayaUSA.com.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
Okay, we're back. Glad you're here with us today. We're talking with Olowo Tchala of Alaffia skincare and hair care products, premium shea butter, and we're discovering lots of other ingredients that are natural and harvested from the earth going onto your skin. And we're talking about how there really is a process that's very short. It's like a 3-step process by the time it gets to our shelves at the Healthy Home Market. And all of these products, all Alaffia products, are 15 to 20% off right now through the end of the month, through June. And so we're extending the idea of Alaffia, peace, health, and well-being, to you, which is what Alaffia means. And Olowo, you know, Hey, what about hair? I mean, hair is so huge. It seems like humans are obsessed with hair. Well, I mean, even cats, are obsessed with it. There's a kind of a pecking order based on who's the fluffiest, biggest cat. And you're really, it's funny, kind of. So helping women and men with their hair is really big. And I want to talk some about what's in your hair care line and how is it different from the skincare line?
Within the hair care, we have very specific formulas for very specific hair type. And so we use various ingredients. Above all is to ensure whatever combinations of ingredients or target we're trying to achieve, that those ingredients are handcrafted and unrefined. And we also use plant gels, sugars, and we use baobab again, and we use agave. And you will also see in our conditioners or shampoos, you will not see water as the first ingredient. Those are aqueous extract of various different herbals that we use. And those are very powerful to begin that way to ensure that the base is very strong.
So you're using essential oils. Which ones are you using?
Those are herb. We do use essential oils as our scent base, and they vary. But the herbal extract, let's take the shea leaves, for instance. So we'll make essentially tea out of the shea leaf, and that is where we'll mix the soaps and everything else to make a shampoo, for instance. It is just ensuring that you're not beginning with water, that you're beginning with, that just like we drink tea for various things that we needed to do internally, we have to ensure that for our external uses, and particularly hair, that we are using those tea-like that are very necessary for our hair needs.
So the tea is a replacement for what, say, a lesser product line would use. They would use water. Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting. The hair, you've developed several products, and one is the Beautiful Curls line. I'm wondering how they're different.
They're very different. The Beautiful Curls, when you have a curly hair, anybody that have curly hair, especially with a very tight spiral, is very difficult to maintain. Curly hair needs a lot of moisture, a lot of hydration, and it essentially means it needs a lot of oil. When you have a curly hair, it's not easy for your own body to make enough oil to travel through that entire hair and maintain the hair, so you need extra. The formulas are very different, the concentrations are very different, and within the curly hair, you have to ensure that you fit the different needs, because not all curly hairs are the same. So you will see that within the Beautiful Curls, there's 3 segments. That you have curly to kinky, and that formulation is very set, and you have wavy to curly, and that formulation is very set, and we also have the sensitive. And if we go back to curly to kinky, you will see the first 2 ingredients that you will see is comfrey and arnica. And comfrey is moisturizing, and arnica is very protective for the hair. When you have very curly or kinky hair, it tends to break, so you have to prevent it from breakage. And those 2 are known to help, of course, the concentrations of the shea butter as well. And within our wavy to curly, you see the first 2 ingredients being yarrow and chamomile. And yarrow, it helps to regulate the scalp oil production, and chamomile helps to shine, so that those waves will look very nice. And the concentrations of oils and shea butter in those are not as much as the curly to kinky, because you don't need as much oil. And on the sensitive, we specifically use neem and calendula. Many of us know calendula is soothing. And the neem, for those with a sensitive scalp or any type of hair issues, dandruff, you go on and on, neem is the way to go. So that while they all have shea butter on them, there's various ingredients around that within those formulas that are specifically for the need of a particular hair.
Is there's a rising incidence of people actually losing hair, men and women, or more women than in the past. Is there a particular product, a particular one of Beautiful Curls that you think would be good for that?
I will suggest the curly to kinky.
Okay.
The fact that arnica is very protecting, and above all, there's various causes to losing hair, but the one that I can speak to is ensuring that your hair is properly maintained. You're giving it the food that essentially need, and to make sure that is continuous, that you stay very consistent with a particular product that works very well for the hair. Often, I think certain things that happen is there are products out in the market that tend to coat the hair instead of nourishing the hair, and you think that your hair is healthy when in reality it's just coated with things that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, that's a important distinction because you're not really sure. Sometimes it looks good, it feels good, but maybe it's not exactly penetrating into the hair shaft.
No, and we know from doing formulations and being on this side of the market, the intention of many enterprises for creating hair product is not the result, it's how it feels, and because people will buy based on how it feels.
Right, and rather than really looking at the long-term effect.
Exactly.
Yeah. You've worked to keep these Shea and economic traditions alive in Togo, and you and your wife and partner and co-founder Rose have created not only effective skin and hair care lines, but you've done it all with fair trade practices, a very high level fair trade. And I've heard you say that you talk about Alaffia products being the voice. What do you mean by that? Is that about fair trade?
It is about fair trade, and it is also about humanity. The Alaffia being the voice is that there are many people around the world that want to do goodness. And with Alaffia, it is a way to participate in creating that goodness regardless of where we reside on the planet. But also the voice that is representing the people that are voiceless, people who their self-worthiness is not front. And what we're doing with Alaffia is making sure that those people have a voice, that you could be a mother very far away and never spoke a word of English or French or any Western languages, but based on the knowledge and traditional knowledge you have, you could be represented in the global market. And Alaffia does that, and we think that that's very important for all of us as a human being to feel valued.
Yes, indeed. And just to be really specific, what does fair trade mean? What does it mean in terms of you're speaking of people that are working with you in Togo, and then what does it mean on the open market, say, for a customer here?
Yes, the fair trade itself, there are two. We are what is called fair trade certified. It's different than just be fairly traded enterprise. To be fair trade certified means a third-party agency verifies your activities on the ground and ensure that there are certain practices that are in place, such as having safe working conditions for the people, and that people are being compensated a wage that they can take care of themselves or their children to go to school, for that matter. And on this side, for us, and these based on Alaffia's understanding, that fair trade should also be fair to the end user. That fair trade cannot be because it's helping the disadvantaged members of the community somewhere, that the people using the end product to have excessively have to overpay. That price needs to be fair as well. And when you look within all the Alaffia family of product, you see that the price is very reasonable, and that was intentional.
Yes, your prices really are. I mean, we've, in fact, with this sale going on, especially this month, we've got the body wash at $9.99 and authentic, true African black soap for $7.49. Incense like eucalyptus and lavender, ylang ylang, and tangerine citrus and unscented and body washes, and the price point is really very fair. and it's such a fine product. You mentioned the third-party agenda or the third-party agency that is actually certifying you. Who does that? Who is that third party?
There are various third party. We use an organization called IMO, and they're based out of Switzerland. And they will go to Togo and conduct a very thorough review on various activities, beginning with the share nut collectors before even get to Alaffia Co-op. All those are verified. The price paid, the contract with the collectives is verified, and at the same time is really again looking how is the community treated in the process. And once you meet all those criteria, there's environmental criteria as well, and they will issue the certificate. If you go to imo.org website, all our scores are listed, and it's about 30 pages. Everything is listed based on it's public information on how we do in various aspects of guiding Alaffia's systems in Togo.
Olowo, this is a huge project, undertaking, life's work that you've done. How many has it's been? Just 10 years? Well, actually, I guess it's been 12 years now that you've been. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how did you and Rose come up with this? What made you think of it?
We're still thinking of it.
Yeah, right.
Every single day. Well, I feel what drives us 10 years ago is the same thing that drives us today. And we came to these with the understanding that there are simply things that seem wrong to us. And we see what we see in Togo, the hard work that people do and still live in poverty. We see product in America on the shelf, and it doesn't translate to people's life. And me, myself, as a Togolese, and understanding the poverty that we live in, it was something that you feel in your guts. It just seems wrong. And
yes.
You think, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? I have the opportunity to stay in the U.S., but that's not settling to me, knowing what I know back home. And we didn't like the ideas of handout. I strongly believe that Africans don't need handout because we got everything. We just need a fair opportunity in the marketplace, and we can take care of ourselves. And I did not like the notion that we have to adopt to the entire Western way of doing things, and I feel that our way of doing things deserve respect. So when you put all of that together, it seemed very straightforward to me that we simply need to bring all our women together, as we did in Togo 12 years ago, to just use the traditional knowledge we have and through the fair trade process, put those in the market. And of course, that the idea seems very straightforward, and once you begin doing the work, it's not so easy. But what is that helps to keep driving is to begin to see the impact in the community, and seeing that you just can't help it but to continue on.
Yes, it's very inspiring. You all might want to go. Everybody listening today, check it out. Go to Alaffia.com. It's very heartwarming and inspiring to see what Olowo and his wife Rose, the company of Alaffia, what they're doing in Togo. That's Alaffia, Alaffia.com. So check it out. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short little break. We'll be here with you on Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip-hop station.
Did you know that your liver performs close to 500 vital functions, including filtering out all of the environmental toxins you're exposed to every day? For the health of your liver, Himalaya Herbal Healthcare offers Liver Care, a clinically proven combination of nourishing herbs that helps cleanse as well as normal cell regeneration and enzyme levels. And when compared to seasonal cleanse kits, Liver Care offers daily support. You'll find Liver Care at fine health food stores everywhere and online at HimalayaUSA.com.
You want more protein for your workout, for you, for your family, so you eat a protein bar. You mix up a protein shake. But did you know your liver plays an essential role in creating new protein in your body? And Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare has been clinically studied to decrease nitrogen loss. And nitrogen is the glue your body uses to make new protein. Liver Care keeps you and your body in a protein-creative state, so you get the full benefit of those bars and shakes. Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare.
We face many of the same challenging situations every day, and Stress Care is your way to move through the day without the occasional stress, fatigue, and frustration that can happen when there is just too much going on. Stress Care contains the world's most prized adaptogens, ashwagandha, holy basil, and turmeric, and is clinically proven to effectively promote both peace of mind and vitality. We like to describe Stress Care by saying, same situation, different you. Stress Care can be found at fine health food stores everywhere or online at HimalayaUSA.com.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
We're back with you. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by the Healthy Home Market. I'm Holly Adams, and we're talking with Olowo Tchala from Alaffia Skin and Hair Care Products. And this company is really about, their tagline is equality, empowerment, and beauty. And I love what you said earlier, Olowo, about how it's kind of a double-edged beauty. There's a couple of aspects, more than one or two or three aspects to the beauty that you are promoting throughout the world. And one of the other, I want to talk a little bit about, before we go back to skincare specifically, Alaffia employs, I understand, more people than about anyone except the government in Togo. That really seems to be transformational. And everyone in the health food business knows that you and Rose have created many community projects. And I'd like to talk a little bit about some of them. I know you have a bike project and a schools project. What's that all about?
We have many projects, and ultimately that is the goal of the Alaffia's existence, is to be able to use the funds to reinvest back into the community. It's one thing to be able to derive a product out of the community and put it in the market, and that process provide jobs. But it's another thing, after you sell those products, to make sure that money is going back into the community for the long term, because jobs today are short term. The long term is social investment. And part of that is investing in the youngsters and in education. And the way I see it, shea trees or any other ingredients out of Togo don't belong to us. We didn't create them, and it's for the community, and that's where the funds should go. So the bicycles, for instance, for the past 12 years, those are to help youngsters go to school. Because of distance, they have to walk in a day. We believe that at least for them dropping out, so having bicycles helps youngsters to stay in school. And you will see throughout West Africa that most those that go to school, most of them are boys, and we need our young ladies to be able to gain the education if we're going to achieve some form of economic equality in the future. And at the same time, we build schools, and the building of schools is partially because there aren't good infrastructure for the students to be able to learn. It's difficult to learn when you don't have a roof, when you don't have a siding. When it's raining, you go home, the books are wet. So having a school where students can be able to go and learn become necessary, and that led us to the constructions of school. And right now we have 5. And we just finished kindergarten for the first time, and we believe now, going forward, our focus will be based on building kindergarten because it's so necessary for the community's future. And when we look into maternal health, we have unnecessary deaths that are happening across West Africa. 270,000 women die each year unnecessarily. And once they die and leave the children behind, it makes it very difficult for those children to attend school. So because our goal is to encourage education, then we need to keep the mothers alive, and therefore we'll provide maternal health for about 1,000 or more women each year so that they don't die unnecessarily. And lastly, we also plant trees, and those are necessary for food security to prevent erosion.
Yeah, the reforestation that you're doing is key, and I know you have some bee preservation projects also.
Yes, we do. Yes, and those are again very important, as we know the bees issue going on around the world, and because we work very, very connected to various communities already in Togo, it makes sense to use our platform to encourage the bee preservation.
Yeah, bee issues are happening everywhere, and apparently somewhere in Kenya they actually figured out a way about 10 years ago to improve the bee situation by actually making the cell smaller, each individual cell, and that actually came from just observing the bees instead of creating these larger celled platforms that allowed more mites to get in. It's so fascinating because it sounds to me like you're really making so much progress there, and I'm wondering, is it a fight to get people to focus on sustainability in Togo and West and Central Africa? I mean, do many people get it?
Life naturally it makes it sustainable. The very fact that our consumption levels are way less than in the individual American family.
Right.
So for that matters, the sustainability is much better. And people in Togo are more concerned about finding food for today and tomorrow, not concerned so much about the comforts of a car, air conditions, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, there's a life to be lived, and if you can feed your family, and it means that you have to cut down a tree to cook for your family, and that's what you do because it's a matter of survival today. So yes, people understand how to coexist with nature, and people have done that, and that's the basis about when we talk about indigenous way of life. But at the same time, there's a high population, and people need to survive today. And what we're doing with the tree planting or providing bicycles and various things and ensure that we're paying fair prices for the shea nuts so that people don't cut them down because they're getting more money for it. With all of that combined together is help toward our sustainability, and people in Togo and elsewhere in West Africa want the nature to carry on.
You're reminding me of this expression that I heard some time ago. This whole idea of trickle-down economics doesn't really work, that it's really siphon up. And
yes.
Yeah, it's when you support the local economy, you really are making it better for everybody. And of course, that's so much up right now in the media, and we have a presidential election coming up here in the United States, and people are really giving a lot more thought to trying to make it more fair, I think.
Yes, and that I think again that's why it's important to pay fair prices for raw ingredients. And I said this not only for Alaffia, but any organization or any entity or corporation enterprise out there engage in getting raw ingredients, and it does. Most raw ingredients does come from poor communities to be consumed in America. The fair prices are paid. Because when you don't pay those fair prices, you cut on labor and you're cutting on the raw ingredient purchases, then the money ends up on the top, and the bottom cannot sustain not have enough for the families for forever. It leads to wars, it leads to famine, and I see that as a criminal process upon the community.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Speaking of, I noticed that you now have red palm oil or Dura palm oil. And I know without even asking, but I want you to tell us all about how you're doing it differently from what's going on with palm oil harvesting in Asia.
Yes, as you know, the orangutans are in Asia, not in West Africa. So our palm oils are free of orangutans. We're not destroying their habitat because they don't exist in West Africa. And what's happening in Asia is because of the destructions of their home, essentially. They can go extinct. And our red palm oil, like all palm oils, they are native to West Africa. So palm oils originally come from West Africa, and the Dira is the kind that has not been hybrided. Many other palm oil out of West Africa are hybrided so that they can produce much greater yield. But for us, you see it has a very dark red tone to it, and that's the native West African palm oil. And what that color that you're seeing is the vitamin A. It has 10 times more carotenoids than carrot, so it's highly concentrated vitamin A. And as well as you know, vitamin A is very, very good for our body, both externally and internal.
So it has 10 times the vitamin A of a carrot?
Yeah, 10 times more carotenoids than if you were to compare it to carrots, yes.
Incredible. And you said that what you're doing differently is you're not hydrating it the way they do so in Asia.
Yes, the Asians were hybrided, which means that they put two different varieties together that they would know that would produce more yield. And ours are not hybrided at all. Essentially, it's modifying the plant, and it's not genetically modifying the plant, but close to it.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. And we'll be on the lookout for that. Stay with us, folks. We're going to take just another break, and we'll be talking to Olowo of Alaffia in just a moment on Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip-hop station.
Did you know that your liver performs close to 500 vital functions, including filtering out all of the environmental toxins you're exposed to every day? For the health of your liver, Himalaya Herbal Healthcare offers Liver Care, a clinically proven combination of nourishing herbs that helps cleanse as well as normal cell regeneration and enzyme levels. And when compared to seasonal cleanse kits, Liver Care offers daily support. You'll find Liver Care at fine health food stores everywhere and online at HimalayaUSA.com.
You want more protein for your workout, for you, for your family, so you eat a protein bar. You mix up a protein shake. But did you know your liver plays an essential role in creating new protein in your body? And Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare has been clinically studied to decrease nitrogen loss. And nitrogen is the glue your body uses to make new protein. Liver Care keeps you and your body in a protein-creative state, so you get the full benefit of those bars and shakes. Liver Care by Himalaya Herbal Healthcare.
We face many of the same challenging situations every day, and Stress Care is your way to move through the day without the occasional stress, fatigue, and frustration that can happen when there is just too much going on. Stress Care contains the world's most prized adaptogens, ashwagandha, holy basil, and turmeric, and is clinically proven to effectively promote both peace of mind and vitality. We like to describe Stress Care by saying, same situation, different you. Stress Care can be found at fine health food stores everywhere or online at HimalayaUSA.com.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
We're back. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour. I'm Holly Adams, and we're here with Olowo from Alaffia Skin and Hair Care Products that we have at the Healthy Home Market all the month of June for 15 to 20% off. So it's a good time to come in and try these beautiful products we're talking about today. You know, we talked a lot about in the former segment about fair trade in Togo and your vision, Olowo, for fairness and sharing in the bounty for everybody. And you're actually doing that here in Washington State, where you have sort of a receiving plant from the products, from the shea butter. Your work is there. What fair practices and sustainability practices are you doing there for employees?
Thank you. Here in Olympia, Washington, the one thing to also note is that we are also certified fair trade here. We don't think that simply being certified fair trade in Togo is enough. We believe the people in Olympia should be treated under the same conditions that people in Togo that would get certification on. So the same organization, IMO from Switzerland, also carry on the inspection internal here as well, and that goes from looking the pay of the top, the pay of the bottom, and then how are people treated, and those are done through the interviews and what are the benefits for the people that are part of the team here. And there are about 85 of us here in Olympia, Washington, that receive the ingredients from Togo and make them into soap and then send it to you. Another way to create the impact, as we know, of Alaffia is not just the people that are directly part of Alaffia, it's the greater community, just like we do in Togo. So right now, about 85% of all our packaging that we use, we make sure that they come within 2 states, that they're American-made, that we can support American manufacturing as well. And that I believe that's very important, that wherever we reside, we need to participate in the greater community.
Yeah, that's it's astounding how you think of everything. I know too. I have to mention that you have these incredible, beautiful grass baskets. That's another co-op that Alaffia has created.
Yes, we have two basket cooperatives. One is in Togo, and the one in Togo, Belita, it primarily focuses on collecting the grass, and those are wild grass. And then there's the large one in Bolga, which is the northern part of Ghana, and there are about 1,800 weavers that weave those various baskets.
You know, back to the skincare line of Alaffia. You know, it helps with wrinkles and dry skin and stretch marks, chapped lips, any sort of sun damage. How does it help with stretch marks? And also, you mentioned earlier small wounds and scrapes, or I imagine diaper rash and insect bites. And how is it doing that?
Well, the one thing with our skin, like all things, will age, and if anything that we could use to encourage our skin to build new skin, it becomes new, and new new is what we aim for. So the shea butter and the baobabs are known to help with the skin cell regeneration. Essentially, is the getting ready of the old cells, and the new ones are made. And these certainly involve applying it at a high concentration. And I often recommend it for those very target treatments that you're using the pure shea butter. It's more concentrated than the lotions or the hand creams.
And what about, you know, people in the States really have a big love affair with their pets. Can you help pets with shea butter?
Certainly, particularly the black soap, our authentic black soap, it helps with the hair, and in that too, because there's a neem, and as you know, pets are exposed the outside, often fleas, the many things that can enter their skin. So they have things that other insects don't like, is very very helpful for the pet. So the black soap, even though we don't put on our label, that's what it can be used for. We use it on our pets, and it works very well.
I know that you have two daughters, right?
That's correct.
I'm wondering, how old are they now, and what hair care products do they like of Alaffia? What do they use?
Their hairs, in fact, that was one of the reasons why we established Beautiful Curls. From the time that they were 2 years old, it was when we started Alaffia, and Rose specifically formulated recipes for them that was not in the marketplace, because their hairs are a combination of two different hair, and it's very difficult to deal with. And with that, now they use primarily Beautiful Curls, and specifically on the kinky set.
Right. What do you use?
I use everything. Every single Alaffia product are dear to my heart, and it's almost when you have children, and sometimes, well, which child do you love the most? It's very difficult to say, but we use pretty much everything, and clearly what is in the shower, and there are lots of it, as you can imagine.
Yes. Must be like, a buffet of Alaffia products in your shower.
Yes.
I know that you are always looking and moving forward, and I don't want to leave today without asking you, what's next for Alaffia?
There are many, we have many next. For us is continue to make sure that whatever action we take, we keep on the loyalty and the duties that we have set forth. And what I'm trying to say is that it's important for us that the mission of Alaffia stays intact, and at the same time we remain flexible to the customer's need or the market needs. And right now we're building, almost done. I'm going to be in Togo in just about a week and a half to open our new artisan center. And this artisan center will be making bags and various craft scarves and eventually shoes. And that's a very big next thing to us, to be able to provide more jobs for the communities in Togo that are different than making shea butter or any other oils. by using the skills in a different way. And we're very excited about these, and we think equally it will be a good thing here as well to be able to have something different and new.
It must be such a joy to go back to Togo, and a joy for people to see you come back. You've had such an enormous impact on the community there.
Yes, it is a joy, and for me, that's why we go back and forth to stay in tune with what is going on in Togo, and to be in tune with what's going on here is very necessary. And for the people of Togo, they don't see Alaffia as a product. They don't see Alaffia as a lotion. They see Alaffia as a way of life, and it's something that gives them hope to believe in themselves, even if they're not part of Alaffia, and to be in that environment and that energy, we think is a very good thing for all of us, and helps all of us to continue to do what we do.
That's a beautiful thing. I thank you so much, Olowo, for all your good work, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I greatly thank you and your customers and everybody that support us, and we're very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll do it again. So you all have to go on the website, alaffia.com. It's ALAFFIA.com, and check out all the heartwarming photos and read the care and concern, the details of what motivates Alaffia's fair trade practice, more of what we've heard today, and check out those hand-woven grass baskets. They are really gorgeous works of art. And, of course, fair trade produce. So take care of your skin and your hair this summer with the company everyone's talking about, Alaffia. Or, as they say, Alaffia for peace, health, and well-being. Thanks for being here on Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip-hop station. Pay it forward and restore yourself by making the healthy choices for you and your family, and enjoy life with the Healthy Home Market. Feel the goodwill and own great health. Check it out at healthyhomemkt.com. That's healthyhomemkt.com for store locations, details, and discounts. Get the best of God's green blue earth at the Healthy Home Market.